One thing that's always stuck in my mind is the school motto, which is "Teach me goodness, discipline, and knowledge." And I bet you could probably add at least another 5 words to that. But one of them is compassion, and one of them is really integrity. But one of the things I took away from St. Mike's was to be able to give the tools necessary to children, teenagers, so that you can get the most out of them, and they can get the most out of life in the future. And that carried on into what ultimately I wanted to do is to decide where I wanted to focus my efforts in helping people out, and that included St. Mike's and the things I've done here, but also with a very, very special project, and that is to look after and see what I can do for children. Because you can't save the world, but what you can do is pick your spots as to where you think you can affect people's lives. And one of them is the sponsorship of 600 orphans every year in the Ukraine. I mean, these kids have nothing. They don't have parents, they barely have food or medicines, but to see these kids for 3 weeks every year enjoy themselves in the Carpathian Mountains, and I've been there to see it myself, is just really priceless. And ultimately what now has happened is I've carried on and found myself as a founder with my wife of a primary school in Barbados, and there was a real need for it. There was a need to have a proper school that taught many of the values that we have here in Canada. Not that the schools in Barbados are substandard, but we wanted to bring a little bit of Canada and St. Mike's to Barbados and to the children there. And I recruited Tom Sheedy, who's a St. Mike's grad, Greg Hook, who St. Mike's grad, and they're basically running that school and applying those same principles, and it's just great. And my 2 daughters are attending the school, and it's great to see them. And yes, everybody wears uniforms at the school every day, and really it's great to see some of the same principles that we learned at St. Mike's being transported all the way down to the island of Barbados. One thing that I believe very, very strongly, and a message that I would give to any young person today looking out into the world and looking out into the workforce, is it doesn't come for free. It has to do not so much how intelligent you are or how big you are in size when it comes to sport. It comes down to pure hard work. And that is a message that I would tell anybody. Through hard work, you'll find opportunities. And through those opportunities, you'll be able to, frankly, flourish and ultimately give something back to the community, back to your school, back to anyone you want to give something back to. But I think that would be the key message. It comes down to grinding it out and hard work day in, day out. Some great memories that I have when I first arrived here at school was, first of all, I remember being called a Niner. That was the first label I had. I specifically recall Father Hibbard, who, we played tennis against one another, and he pushed me along in tennis. One of my fondest memories, I think, was actually winning the championship here 2 years in a row, and beating a fellow by the name of Greg Hook, who is now one of my best friends 30 years later. But I remember watching the hockey players, the older ones, and to me I was in awe, because I was kind of walking by them, and back then we had grade 13, and a lot of these guys were playing hockey, and they were, to me, like gladiators. And now I go back into the dressing room at St. Mike's and see the majors, and these are kids. So it's amazing how when you go through life, you see people grow, you see people grow up, you see their successes, and I just can't be more prouder than to be able to say that I went to St. Michael's College School, and all of the people that graduated that went on to become successes. To me, that is just something that I'll remember the rest of my life.